Let's do the Telegraph. And protests by hardline Muslims pose a national security threat. Not my words, I'm just reading the headline, John.
Well, let's see if I can get cancelled in this one. Protests outside schools and cinemas by hardline Muslims pose national security threat. This is a think tank, the Henry Jackson Society, if anybody wants to go and protest against them. It's a 69-page report, Britain's new blasphemy police. And we have seen a few things, very disturbing things. We saw the teacher at the Batley Grammar School who essentially showed and said to the class, you warned them that he was going to show a picture of the cartoon, explained why, and yet now this person is still on the run for their life 2 years later. You have
a picture of Hugh Edwards.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the context doesn't seem to matter now, does it?
And then you also had the cinema that was showing a film that was made by Muslims, by the way, but it was the wrong kind of Muslims for another group of Muslims, and so they were protesting outside. And so what this report is saying is that that companies and institutions in this country need to grow a backbone. And the most shameful thing, you also had an autistic 14-year-old who had
in Wakefield,
with the Quran. There was this shameful press conference where the mother and the kid are they're apologising. They're basically it's almost like they're begging for their lives next to the police. There are the police as well going along with it. Instead of saying, you've threatened this kid, you do a death threat, we're going to throw you in jail. They're like, no, they're like, oh, please forgive us.
The ultimate victim blaming.
The police actually punished the child. They punished this 14-year-old autistic schoolboy for...
and it wasn't even his fault.
And they gave him a non-crime hate incident that's going to follow him for the rest of his life. And the people who made the death threats against him, absolutely nothing.
And the point is, we or this country does need to stand up to this because we don't live in Sharia law. We don't live in a system. We don't live in a theocratic state, and we have to stand up to these institutions. There's another clip out there of this poor cinema manager standing in front of 100 protesting Muslims because of this other film which is the Muslims I mentioned that they didn't like, and this poor guy, no police around, and he's having to appease them and saying we're going to cancel it, I'm sorry, because that person was fearful, that person was intimidated. There should have been police there to go, you can protest, but you cannot intimidate.
Yeah, OK, well, I hope some people listen to the report.